Hi everybody, thanks for dropping by Wainwright Road. This is Marjorie Cook, and today we're going to create this beautiful coastal farmhouse kitchen table. My whole life I've wanted two things in my home. One, a chunky style farmhouse table, and two, a room I could theme like it was sitting in the sand. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is wash the entire table. This table was sitting in my daughter's garage, and we picked it up when we moved the rest of our belongings back from Utah to Texas. And, you know, she'd had it in her garage for a while and she was just getting rid of it. So we had rearranged everything in the truck to make room for it and bring it home. I have always wanted a really big, chunky, square leg table. And so, of course, she says, hey, do you want to take this home with you too? Heck, yes, I did. So I washed everything really, really well with some Dawn dishwashing liquid to, cut, grease and things that may have ended up on it just from handling it with our hands and living in a garage for a while. And then I wanted to get as much of the finish off the legs as possible because I knew I was going to be painting it as close to white as I could, or at least a really, really light color. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do the legs at first. I did one test leg with the color that I chose, which was a really light blue, and I made it into a mineral paint, and I'll show you how later in this video. So once I liked that, I went ahead and did the rest of the legs, sanded everything down, got as much of the finish off as I could, and proceeded to paint all four legs in this amazingly wonderful light blue color that really almost looks white. I mean, from a few feet away, depending on the light, you can't tell it's blue, but then in certain lights, it looks really, really sky blue. It's not even robin's egg blue. It's lighter than that. And I just love the way it turned out. I did end up brushing on just a sloppy country coat of white on top of these legs later to give it contrast to the top, and I just love the way it came out. So we're getting a look at the table now, and yeah, like I said, it was a garage table. It is scratched. It's got paint on it. It's got water damage. This is not a piece that I would have paid money for even on like Facebook Marketplace. I would not rehab this for a client without putting a lot more work into it than I did for myself, because I'm not nearly as hard on the rehab for myself as I am for others. For instance, that big gouge on one end really needed a putty fill, but I'm okay with having a gouge in the table when I want it to be rustic. So I didn't fill it. I didn't bother. I sanded it down so that it had more of a worn look, like that gouge had been there a lot longer than it really had. And I just went to town. See the bubbling there? That's water damage. That's the veneer just bubbling like crazy. So I went through with the sander and just scraped as much as I could. I didn't take it down to bare wood. That would have taken a lot longer and a lot more sanding pads than I actually had on hand. I just wanted to make sure that my paint was going to stick, and I wanted to make those bubbles go away as much as I could. So here we go. After I wiped down the entire surface with a tacky paper towel, which basically I just used some Windex and got all the dust off, I knew I was going to go over it one more time with my sander. Fresh pad. I'm going over all the raised water spots one more time, just get it as smooth as I can. And you'll see once I'm finished, there's some raw wood showing. I got it as smooth as I could. Through the paint, you can still, when it's completely done, you can see that it's a damaged table. Again, not selling it, not flipping it for anybody but me. See, look at all that clear space showing through. Yeah, we did some damage to that surface. It was fun. But yeah, I'm painting it, so it doesn't matter. Got all the dust off, and we're about to do the fun part. Keep watching. Can I just take a moment to apologize for some of the lighting in this video? A lot of this painting was done kind of in the middle of the night, and I don't have great lighting in that room and haven't really invested in great studio lighting yet. So in this part here, I'm mixing up the mineral paint. So that green and white bag, that is food grade diatomaceous or something like that earth. And no, I did not slow the speed down. That was me trying to figure out how to say what this is. I will link it in the description. It's basically crushed up fossilized shellfish. And it's a natural element. It is edible. They do sell it like to kill bugs and things like that, but pretty sure it's exactly the same stuff. They just market it differently. This exact same powder, you can put it outside. It'll kill your ants. It'll kill slugs and things like that in your garden. I bought it originally because one of our cats, Danny K, he was born feral and he had a tapeworm, and he's perfectly fine now. You know, I fed him this. I mixed it in with his food, got rid of the tapeworm. So I mixed it, as you can see, just about, a quarter of a cup with some water, made it real loose. When I shake this up, you're going to see that I'm wrapping it with a paper towel, because no matter how tight I got that lid, some of the earlier batch had dried around the edge, it was going to leak like a sieve. This is a very thin, creamy, well, not even creamy, it's a very thin paint, but man, it covers good. Look at this first coat going on. The coverage is amazing when you mix it with this. Basically, it's a flour, and I'm making a cold roux and mixing it with the paint. Less than 1 cup of paint in that jug with that stuff covered this entire table and most of the chairs. I mean, it was pretty amazing. This is the second coat. Take it back. This might be the third coat, because you'll see now I've done the edges underneath, the beams. And this is the touch-up that I'm doing before I wax it. Or before I distress it and then wax it. I'm not going to bore you with the distressing. I just took some sandpaper and I made some nicks and cuts. There you go. There's some of the distressing that I did. Just around the edges, a couple of spots on top, just to make it a little bit worn. And here is our final product. I love how this table turned out. In certain lights, it's really blue. In other lights, it's kind of white. Sometimes you can see a real difference between the tabletop and the legs. Sometimes you can't. It is so amazing. I went to the Dollar General in our little town, which is the only kind of dollar family store that we have. And oh my gosh, I went down the wrong aisle, because everything you see on that table, except for like the plates themselves, was green dot sale, 50% off. I think I got the placemats for 50 cents a piece. I got the enamelware style tins for like $1. So I had way too much fun with that. I would like to thank you so much for dropping by Wainwright Road today. If you liked this content, please hit that like button. And if it's the kind of content that you enjoy, I would really appreciate it if you would go ahead and smash that subscribe button as well. Don't forget the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you would like to, chat and, hang out, we're building a community over on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook at Wainwright Road. I will put the link in the description. And please, please share this with your friends. Come back and see us. Check out the videos popping up on your screen over there. You can check out how we did the chairs. And there's going to be a playlist for this entire series. I made some coasters to go with this table. And we are just having a fantastic time with our coastal themed beach house room. Remember, the whole reason that we're putting this together is to bring Becky home off the road. She's an over-the-road truck driver. She does that so that I can stay home and be near and take care of my mom, who is aging gracefully with Alzheimer's. So thanks again for stopping by, and you have a great day.